Heart first leadership isn't what you say, it's how you show up, how you regulate, how you communicate, and how you execute when it matters most. We are Heidi and Ryan Sawyer, and you are listening to the Heart First Leadership Podcast.
Welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing great. The weather's about to turn around. We're going to have some beautiful, 80s or something, 80s weather.
I think it's like 96 or something crazy.
Yeah,
next week.
So it's been really wet, green,
if you think about it, like 2
here.
weeks ago, I think it snowed.
Are you serious?
I don't know. It's just crazy how fast it turns into summer around here. So
I'm looking forward to that. I am ready for some summer sunshine and just feeling very optimistic today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad when you're optimistic because it makes for a better podcast for everybody who's listening. So thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to just dive right into our topic, which is mindset is everything, right? And I was preface this conversation with a few things that we teach. And this might sound like, yeah, no, I get it. I take full responsibility. Oh, yeah, okay, I get it. But this is a conversation I've recently had with a good friend of mine. And I think there's something here for us to unpack, even a level further that allows for us to show up for ourselves and in the world in a much more powerful way. And again, every time that we adopt a stronger mindset, we are not only, going to be able to create a larger impact in the world, but we're impacting ourselves first, which is a part of that, right? We're a part of this humanity. We're a part of our community. So we have to learn how to impact ourselves. And we talk about mindset. We teach a couple of different things. First one is we take full responsibility, 100% responsibility for everything in our lives. Mm-hmm. Okay. The second one is that everything is for us, right? Now, this is where it gets a little bit sticky for some people, right? Because how can you say that everything in the world is for you? Well, again, it's a mindset. Okay. And the third piece is that make life our training ground. And we're taking everything as an opportunity to work on, rehearse, and become the best version of ourselves, right? So the main thing that I want to talk about here is just this idea, because these three they really could just be one thing. They play into each other, but this idea that everything is for you. What we have found when people go through this 10-week integrated mindset course is that they have really, that's one of the hardest things to wrap their mind around. And yet, if they do, creates the largest shift in their perspective and in their life and momentum forward towards the experience they do truly want to have. So I would love to hear from you. Otherwise, I'll just keep going. I would love to hear from you. When you hear this, or when we first started to learn this mindset or adopt this mindset as individuals and as a family, that everything was for us, what does that mean to you?
To me, it's one of those things that in the beginning, it was a little bit more challenging to accept that some of the things that felt very much against me in my life at specific times could have been working for me. Yeah. But I think that it is a lot of that shift from being the victim of your life circumstances and having life happening to you to being the creator of your life and having life happen for you, through you, and as you, right, which we talked a lot about that when we went through our 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership series. So I think it's one of those things too, where we can decide to believe whatever we want to. If believing that everything is happening for some greater good and that there's some plan or some balance with it all serves you and it leads to you living a happier life and feeling better and more empowered about whatever's happening in your life, then yes,
that's good.
Believe that. Right. Believe that thought because that's a thought that is serving you. So, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. So so I want to just kind of get something out of the way real fast, and then we'll go deeper into this conversation. Yeah. And there's a level of universal principle that's going to come out of this conversation, which is a vast conversation in itself. But one of the things that my mind tends to do, and one of the things that happened in a conversation I recently had as I was talking about this with somebody, is that they instantly went to this worst case scenario. These horrible, unthinkable things happen to good people, right? And do we have to sit here and try to find the good in those things as well? That's not what we're necessarily saying, right? That there is a level, though, of us coming back into our own lives. Let's just pull that back in relationship to ourselves and say, can you see how even a struggle in your past, somebody who was hard on you, a father or a mother maybe had high expectations, or, whatever that looks like, a coach or a struggle, an obstacle, a financial situation, you got fired. Is it possible for you to span back over your life and to recognize how, because of that thing happening, that forged you, that created a version of you, right? And so sometimes people can do that. They can look back and they can say, oh yeah, that hard moment, that hard experience, that hard circumstance gave me a level of grit. It gave me some confidence that I can get through hard things.
It gave me insane clarity around what it was that I didn't want to experience, right? Like a bad relationship. Man, nothing gives you clarity around who you want to be with as a partner than being with the person that is not the right fit. Right. So that could be one of those circumstances like, oh, this is terrible. I have this terrible relationship. No, actually, you just got closer to recognizing the qualities in a person that you actually want. And once you have clarity around what you do want, it's so much easier to move in that direction.
Yeah, a lot of times figuring out what you want, the first and most important thing is to figure out what you don't want, right? Is a process of elimination.
And that takes personal experience a lot of times that feels as if it's against us or it's happening to us. At the time that it's going on. But in hindsight, we can look back and say, oh yeah, this happened. I didn't like that. That was terrible. And it gave me great clarity around what I did want to experience more of.
Right. So fundamentally, we're kind of talking about this law of polarity, that there's a positive and negative charge to everything. There's a top and a bottom. There's a right and a left. There's an up and a down. There's a black and a white. There's two sides to every single coin. If you look at it in nature, this is true, right? There's a shadow from where the sun is shining, and on the opposite side of the sun is shining, there's shadows, right? And there's a golden shadow of our psyche. There's a dark shadow of our psyche, and these two things are playing dance with each other in a way that's how we show up in the world. There's two sides to every single thing. So if you are experiencing some sort of obstacle or struggle in your life, then that would mean that to the level that it's hard, there should be that based upon principle of universal laws, that our lives are governed by. There should be just of the same degree of positive influence in our lives.
Let me ask you something about that.
Okay.
Let me ask you something about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about to go down a really good clarity. But go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about your personal experience with this because you have been in some very low lows. So what is the experience of life that you have now because you have had the experience of having depression, anxiety in the past?
So somebody, maybe this is the first time hearing this, but
because somebody may be in that situation.
Very quick little backstory. The reason why I'm so incredibly connected to this work of teaching, facilitating, exploring consciousness, what it means to be human potential, performance, all the things, right? Is because I spent a large amount of my life in a very anxious and or depressed state, very, very depressed state, to the point where there was consistent suicidal thoughts. And so anyway, without going into any more story, that 20-year span thereabouts that I spent in that up and down roller coaster, constantly, trying to overcome myself and falling short consistently, no matter what the world saw, gave me an incredible amount of resilience and fortitude to unpack and uncover and learn what I need to learn to have this experience of life I have right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not only personally, okay, so if I wanted to, I know that I could develop the businesses or the models to make money or whatever that would allow for me to ride off into the sunset,
Mm-hmm.
for nobody ever to see or hear from me again, and live a very, very peaceful life and a very joyful life and enjoy life thoroughly. So I have this ability to source my own sense of inner okayness,
Mm-hmm.
right? As well as through all the mindset stuff and the practices that we teach, as well as I have created incredible clarity and connection to what I believe is the reason why I'm here. The reason why I suffered, is because I unpacked an incredible amount of knowledge and information and ways to create shifts in other people's lives, right? And I've seen it happen over and over and over again. So when my alarm goes, I just got back from a conversation with somebody who we're, potentially going to be kind of partnering with in business a little bit in the sports performance world, and teaching mindset is like, I removed the snooze button. Do you guys know you can do that? You can remove the snooze button from your phone.
Oh, cool.
Did you know
I didn't know you could do that. I never really hit it, but
you can turn that option off on your phone, right?
Nice.
And we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Like, do you hit snooze? And he's like, no, right? I don't even have to set an alarm, right? I just wake up, because this is a very, very inspired individual, very mission-centric individual. And so that life of having an incredible amount of meaning and purpose and contribution and significance, like, this is part of a basic human need that we all have. We all have this underlying burning desire to make an impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In somebody else's life other than our own, right? Especially as we grow. Right. So I have incredible clarity and connection to how it is I want to impact the world, and impact youth, and impact parents or leaders or coaches, and to build something that's sustainable and that is scalable, that, impacts more than just a few hundred people in Spokane Valley, but people all over the world. Yeah. And so that clarity of purpose and of the inner world of me being able to be okay no matter what, those two things create for a beautiful life. And that would not have been possible if I wouldn't have spent those 20 years lost.
We are all leaders. If you're ready to stop waiting and start impacting your environment in a powerful way, we want to connect with you. Click the Book Now link in the show notes to book a call with a Heart First coach and discover what Heart First leadership can look like in your life and in your environment. Now back to the show.
Is how can you know that you are sourcing your sense of safety from within yourself, and that you can be okay no matter what, other than really not being okay at some point, and understanding like what that entails.
Yeah. I mean, I know it because I experience it.
Yeah.
I experience it when there's clearly something happening, a situation. Maybe we should do a podcast about this very soon. Situation happened, I don't know, a few months ago, whatever it was, where things were not okay out there in the world.
Yeah.
And I was okay in here.
Right. With whatever outcome happens, you know that you're going to be all right.
Yeah. I mean, it was it could have gone a couple of different directions that I wouldn't necessarily have desired, or I wouldn't have asked for. But as I let my mind play it all the way out to completion of the best case, worst case, and neutral scenarios, I still recognize that there was something in it for me. I would learn somehow. I would receive a gift. There would be a lesson that I would learn. I would learn something about myself, that I'd be able to grow through that process. And that at the end of it, I would be okay. And that's what we're talking about, right? We just kind of accidentally came full circle there, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Was that your?
Yeah. No, that was actually not where I was going, but yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's a bigger thing, but I think we can take these little tiny micro experiences, right, that are happening to us every single day, and find how they're for us, little tiny things, just little irritable things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they allow for us to practice compassion. They allow for us to practice curiosity. They allow for us to step into our confidence. They allow for us to explore and in ways how we can come back and find that center, find the safe harbor, find that place where no matter how things are going on out there, I'm still okay in here, right? And because that's the goal. When we become a rock like that psychologically, then we create this incredible environment for other people to do the same.
Yeah. I was just thinking of an example of that, just like a micro example. I've had times where I was like made late somewhere by the kids, right? Like they took forever to get going. But then I'm able to say, okay, if everything's happening for me, maybe getting there 10 minutes late actually was for me. Maybe there's some situation that I somehow avoided by not being there at the time that.
So I have a very similar story. So 2 years ago, bought a new truck, super excited. It snowed. I bought it right before winter hit. The first snow, I was like really excited about getting out. And kind of just seeing how it ripped through the snow. Well, I had these big old mudder tires on there that weren't siped. And so in all reality, it was god awful in the snow. But I pull out to go up my driveway. It has a very slight little angle to it. And the 4-wheel drive doesn't kick in. Right. And so like, not only can I not go and experience what my truck is like in the snow, but like I can't even get out of the driveway. I'm stuck. Like, spinning my wheels, and like 4-wheel drive won't work, and I have to like back down and park on the street.
Yeah, real tough truck. You can't even get out of the driveway.
Anyway, the point is that here's the reality. I noticed this frustration pop up. This little bit like, oh, come on, it's a brand new truck. How does the 4-wheel drive not work? Right? And then it instantly, with this mindset, this awareness, not that it just instantly pops up, but just a moment after, like legitimately a brief moment after, my mind goes, how is this for me? Right. And we don't know sometimes, but we have to have faith that it's for us.
Yeah.
Right. And does it potentially, maybe I would have gone a little too fast, a little too squirrely, been a little too confident in my new truck, and maybe I would have wrecked it. Maybe I would have hit somebody. Maybe I would have, who knows?
Right.
Right. When you miss the flight, who knows when you hit the red light? Who knows when, you're having some struggles in a relationship, right? And that on the other side of that struggle, you could be closer and more connected than you ever thought possible.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I do know this, that when you adopt a mindset that everything is for you, that you give yourself an opportunity to get to the other side of it faster, more resilient, smarter, wiser, right? And stronger. I do know that because what you focus on, you find. You focus on the problem, you focus on how it's for you. That's what you're going to continue to fortify in your mind, is that the world is happening to you. There's a war going on out there. And all of that is to recognize that there's actually, when we think there's a war going on out there, right? Whatever war you think is going on in the external world, right? Because there's evil or whatever, like it's just a manifestation of the war that's happening within each and every single one of us.
It's the collective consciousness creating
100%. Yeah. And so when we recognize that we notice a war out there, it's this taking 100% responsibility to come back in and identify the war that's happening within us.
Yeah, that's an invitation. Like our discomfort that seems to be happening outside of us is 100% an invitation to look inside.
Point of inspection.
And yeah, it's an invitation. It's a point of inspection. And one of my dear friends, she always says PAIN. PAIN stands for pay attention inside now.
I like that.
So
Misty thing?
Yeah, my friend Misty Springer, go check her out. It's so true. What we see happening on the outside, like where our attention is pointing at, is so related to our internal compass and what's going on inside of us, of each one of us. It's not to say that you can live, on a cloud and nothing terrible is happening in the world. Of course, there are heartbreaks, there is loss, there is death, like these things happen.
But you're not necessarily always going to understand them.
Right. And it's not to bypass it, but it's also just how can we bring our attention to what it is that we do want to experience, or deriving the gift or the lesson from the experience that we're currently having, even if it's not the experience that we necessarily want to be having right now. Like,
That's
I think
probably the one you need.
Yeah. Like, I think about some of our, relationship problems that we've had in the past, and we'll re-air an episode on forgiveness later on. But, as I reflect back on those times, those are not situations that I would wish on anybody else, but I'm so grateful that we went through it. I'm so grateful that we had those times that were undesirable so that we could see eventually the gift in it and how it was leading us to this more connected experience of our marriage and our relationship and the life, the impact, the family that we're building now. I don't think any of that really would have been possible to the level that we're creating it had we not experienced what we went through.
Yeah.
So even when it seems like, how in the world is this for me? A thought that will always serve you is that things are happening for the greatest good. You don't have to understand it.
Yeah.
It's about having faith.
So it's about a mindset. So you bridge the gap for me perfectly here to say the point is to have the mindset and approach life with that, right? Yeah. So faith, you said the word faith. Mm-hmm. We believe, that some of these practices of integrating the integrated mindset are going to be tougher to adopt into practice and to really integrate into your life if you don't have faith in some sort of higher power, whether you are a strong Christian or you just believe in the universe has your back or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Faith is this incredible part of our human experience, to believe in something greater than ourselves, to just feel that, right? So whether or not you have that type of faith, the desire is, if you don't, then be curious about how you could develop it. What path could you potentially take a step down through direction in that would help to develop your faith in something larger than yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So is there a church that you've been kind of thinking about going to? Is there a friend of yours that has faith that seems to be stronger than yours, and you want to lean in, ask that person, what is it that you believe, try a church or whatever it may be, right? The point is not to have a certain belief structure. The point, and listen to this very clearly, the point is to have the mindset. Mm-hmm. The point is to be able to, when something happens or you're going through something, to ask yourself, how is this for me? How does this lead to growth? And then the pull, the magnetic pull above the line, when you think about below line, above the line, right, is how can I contribute? How can I help? Right? Because when you see a struggle, when you notice a struggle, when you're watching the news and it's negative and you see this either violence or you see some sort of, social thing happening.
Injustice
or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
The question becomes, what are you doing about it? Because if you see some sort of hole, right, real psychological safety comes from a man knowing that, and then I say man, I mean man or woman, a human, knowing that their life has meaning, right? That their suffering has meaning. Think about Viktor Frankl in the concentration camps, right? Where it was man's search for meaning that kept people alive. The moment that an individual stopped having the will to live, the will for meaning in their life, that's when they got too weak and either was, sent off to their death or would just physically
they'd let go.
They would let go and pass away because it was an individual. And Viktor Frankl said that's what pulled him through. That's what created logotherapy, was his desire to derive meaning from his experience.
Yeah.
How can I decide what I am going to make this mean?
Yeah.
Right. And this is another placebo effect component. We can decide what we're going to make a circumstance, a situation mean about ourselves or to us, right? And that is the powerful the powerful component of having this mindset. And whether you need to have faith in God, Christ, whatever it is, universal, has your back.
Universal intelligence.
Yeah, universal
spirit.
intelligence,
Yeah.
spirit, whatever you want to call it. That helps. But the real point is just to have the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
To have the mindset that you're searching for the positive meaning, the strength, and not positive, anymore, how you're going to be more resilient, stronger, more compassionate, empathetic, because you went through this.
Yeah.
You now, and Michael Singer would say, you're now a greater being.
Mm-hmm.
You smelled the rose,
yeah,
or you got through the struggle,
mm-hmm.
whatever it is, your new experience of life, that's what makes us a greater expression
mm-hmm.
of ourselves, right? You are now a greater being,
yeah.
right? And that's the point. So you go through it, not that you're going to welcome struggle, right? But you actually start to get to a place where the mindset allows for you to take on challenges,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? To actually go in the Navy SEALs would talk about this very thing. I know Mark Divine would be like, yeah, that's what we do. We go find the challenge, because otherwise the challenge is going to find me.
Yeah. Your growth is in that resistance that you don't want to feel or you avoid.
Absolutely.
Like that is the exact recipe for the person that you want to become. And yes, your experiences can provide you with greater empathy, can provide you with new perspectives that you could never have otherwise. Recently I had a friend that I had a conversation with, and she was going through something really similar to what Ryan and I went through. And, she's telling me this horrible thing, right? Her husband had an affair. And I looked her dead in the eye and I said, this is going to sound really weird, but I'm actually excited for you, because I know what's on the other side of that. Like if you're traversing this, if you're facing this and you're willing to lean in and both take responsibility in the situation and find forgiveness in your heart and move through this, like, man, where you guys are going to end up on the other side of that is so powerful.
Well, or even if you end up not together, but
right.
who you became in the process of going through that, and how you either maybe you had to stand up for yourself,
right?
Maybe you had to say that's not okay.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, in our process of that, you have become way stronger in that domain of being like, it's not okay to talk to me that way, mm-hmm. or it's not okay to, right?
I didn't like the tone there or whatever. Right.
You are way more clear than you were however many years ago. 15 years ago, we've been together 15 years. Holy cow. About like how people treat you, right?
Yeah, because I think going through different experiences in my life, it's made me have a better understanding and respect for who I am and what I value. But a lot of that, I don't think I could have gotten there without my own soul curriculum, with my own lessons that had to show up.
Without the breakdown.
Yeah, without the breakdown, right? Breakdown sometimes leads to breakthrough, and it definitely has in my case. And that was such a full circle moment with that friend to be able to look her in the eye and go, you know what, like, you're going to be okay. No matter what, like, no matter how this ends up, like, this is a opportunity for massive growth in your life. Maybe you can't see it right now, but I can see it. And just like, lean on my faith, because you're going to get through it.
And I think it's like, I love that you say lean on my faith, because I think this will kind of bring it full circle. So what we're talking about is this mindset that everything is for you, right? This is not something that one day you wake up and go, okay, I'm going to go live my life as if everything is for me and nothing is happening to me, but everything's happening through me. Like, all right, here I go, right?
Yeah.
It takes time and it takes practice. Like faith, to develop faith, you have to practice your faith.
Yeah.
You have to, I say the word test it, but you have to practice. You have to say, okay, I'm going to have faith here. I'm going to let go and have faith. I'm going to let go and let God. I'm going to practice my faith, just because somebody, either goes to church and reads the Bible or this or that or whatever, like says they believe in a higher power, or then I know the universe has my back. Okay. Don't tell me, show me. Actually practice it. Right. Yeah. And so if we have a hard time adopting this mindset of everything is for us, then that is a question of faith. And I love what Joseph Campbell even says. They asked him about faith in an interview that well, I don't remember the name of the book is, but it's a massively long interview that somebody takes him through. And Joseph Campbell goes, I don't need faith. I have experience. Eventually, faith is a word that we use to say that we believe in something higher. But if we practice faith enough, if we lean into life enough to say everything is for us, what if we just, at some point, just like, you just know that? And that's what experience becomes. Experience becomes a knowing. When you know how to tie your shoe, change a tire, or to manifest something, or to get through something hard, like, you know, when someone says, you know, I mean, I always kind of go back to the Navy SEAL piece, but like, lean and rest. You don't know how long that lean and rest, a plank, as they call lean and rest. You don't know how long that day, you know, the group has decided in their mind we're going.
Let's not get it twisted. It's not a rest. A plank is not a rest.
You don't know how long. You do know that it's going to be probably longer than the last time that we did this, right? And you know that you're going to get there. You know with every single cell of your body that you're going to get to the other side of this, and you're going to be stronger. You're going to be more resilient. You're going to be wiser, right? And it's legitimately taking your mind and attention off of what is happening to you and how is it happening for you. Right? And that's going to take practice. That's going to take, and it's going to take mentorship sometimes. It's going to take support. It's going to take other people with similar mindset.
It does take having that community of people. Because people are not always going to see it the same way that you are. If you're adopting some of these integrated mindset principles and you're saying, I'm taking 100% responsibility for my life. I'm seeing how everything is for me and happening for me. I'm seeing the world as an abundant place and a training ground for my growth and evolution. Like, there's going to be some people who don't agree with you and want to have the conversation that the world is going to shit. But it's our job to continually redirect our thoughts back to those thoughts that are serving us in having the experience of life that we want to have and creating the impact and making the positive difference in the world that we want to make. Because I know if you're listening to this podcast, it's because you are a person who doesn't want to settle for the status quo. You don't want to just live a mediocre life. You want your life to mean something. You want to make a difference, and you want to be a catalyst for change in the next generation going forward. And it does take thinking a little bit different than generations past. And that's what we're talking about here, is really getting to adopt mindsets that work for you so that you can make a bigger difference in the work that you're doing in the world.
And eventually it's going from replacing a thought to a way of being. Like, it's just who you become.
Yeah. It's like changing those autopilot settings to having had so many experiences of seeing the gift, of receiving the gift, of learning the lesson and seeing how the situation can be for you, and being so practiced at that it becomes a strong muscle, and you're able to.
And even to the point where you say, thank you.
Yeah. You're like, okay, all right.
Thank you for this opportunity to see how I still have some healing to do. I need to let go of something. I thank you for the opportunity to become more resilient and more confident. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Thank you for giving me a catalyst for my own growth. Like, that's why we're here.
Thank you for the contrast. So I can see, you know, in the rainy day, how beautiful the sunshine is. Right. It is all a part of the same conversation. And I hope that that's starting to be reflected here, and that you're starting to.
So I'm going to commit to something here, because we've talked about it multiple times, and I think we're avoiding it.
What are we avoiding?
The forgiveness podcast. So that's going to be the next one we record.
Okay. I'm down with
I think
that.
we have a guest coming on in our next podcast. We're going to be interviewing Casey Jaycox, a former teammate of mine who is incredibly impact-oriented human. We're going to learn a lot from him about, I know that he has a book out there, Win the Relationship.
Yeah, win the relationship, not the deal.
Yeah. And so it's a very more of a sales approach, but with an incredible impact-oriented perspective in that, you know, anyway, so we're excited about bringing him on, learning from him, exploring how he has identified a hole and how he's going to work to fill that hole to really fulfill his purpose and who he needed to become to do so. So tune in next week to catch that. And then we will promise that the week after it'll be our forgiveness podcast. So we're going to do that. So thank you for your time here today. Is there anything that you wanted to wrap it up with?
I just want to add a quick invitation that we are starting some integrated mindset groups. So if you're wanting to take these mindset principles and go further into this work and really learn the practices and the ways that you can start integrating this into your life and start having some real perspective shifts around what's happening in your life currently. And not only that, but where you want to go in the future, who you want to become, the impact that you want to make. And you want to do that with a group of people who are motivated to show up as the highest impact versions of themselves and are kind of in the trenches with you in that uncovering who that is for themselves and cheering each other on all along the way. I want to invite you to reach out to us, to visit our website, ihpcoaching.com, and learn more about the programs that we're offering, because they will 100%, I can tell you this with confidence, you will see a massive, massive change in your life if you apply the tools that we're teaching here. And it's going to go so far beyond what you're hearing here on the podcast. So if you're enjoying the podcast, leave us a rating and review, share it with someone else. And if you want to take it deeper, visit our website and check out the programs. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, just remember, without practice, nothing's achieved.
Thank you for listening. Remember, leaders go first. Alignment matters. And the environment that you create is the legacy you'll leave. We'll see you on the next episode.